Are you in the market for a new car, computer, GPU, or games console? Then you may be out of luck this year as well. As the Christmas season approaches, the demands of semiconductors have surged to unprecedented highs, as many people want to get their hands on the latest tech before they head home for the holidays for the first time in 2 years. Meanwhile, semiconductors remain in short supply, shipping lanes have been congested, and, believe it or not, ships carrying said semiconductors have started disappearing from radar systems. Like, no joke. And this not only affects the gaming industry, but it also affects the science and technology industry. This affects the automotive industry. It's literally a big problem when we can't even make chips. Enough chips to, like, meet demand. Now, I'll be trying a little bit 200cc this time, and we'll be choosing today. Okay, why is this a problem? Because we know there was a lot of high-profile console launches, and they were all failures. Like, in the last 2 years, or something. Well, I had to apologize for last stream, first of all. Last stream, there's no game audio from my stream, so I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience I might have caused you. Number 2 is, now, yeah, we all know your PS5 scalping situation. It has not gotten better. It's actually getting worse, if you ask me. Then, after this race, I will show you a segment from China in Focus. Now, I have to tell you that I'm going to be using the footage from the newscast in accordance with fair use. Because, yeah, all of them. And even my RTX 3060 that I really wanted to buy is getting scalped too. Like, our GM had to cut production by almost 300,000 vehicles. Because couldn't find enough chips. Now, you seriously will not believe, what is really behind the chip shortage. Or, I mean, major changes to why the chip shortage got worse. And it's gonna be so serious. Alright, so that it's just going to blow your mind or something. So, okay, now I'm gonna mute this, and we're gonna open up a new video source. Let's see. Wait, no, it's actually in iVideos.
The Chinese Communist Party may have dealt a The Chinese Communist Party may have dealt another blow to the global supply chain. It's preventing outsiders from...
Let's try that one more time, okay? Now, here's the real reason why the chip shortage is getting worse. Roll the clips.
The Chinese Communist Party may have dealt another blow to the global supply chain. It's preventing outsiders from accessing information about cargo ships in Chinese waters.
Pandemic delays triggered much of the current supply chain crisis. Now global shipping issues may be getting worse. According to reports, nearly 90% fewer vessels operating in Chinese waters are sending out signals to shipping data companies. The substantial drop comes in just the last few weeks. Beijing blames the change on national security concerns, but that data is critical for shipping companies. They use it to track.
It's exactly the same thing as if you turn off the radar while transporting passengers from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing in 2014. It's like the same shit in a different time. So,
Ships fitted with an automatic identification system, or AIS. That way the companies know when each ship is anchored, unloaded, or departed. Details that help improve port efficiency. China accounts for 6 of the 10 busiest container ports in the world. Trade analyst for Vessels Value, Charlotte Cook, shed some light on the situation. She says some AIS transponders were removed along Chinese coastlines earlier this month, at the instruction of Chinese national security authorities, adding that only those installed by so-called qualified parties still remain. Some analysts suspect the culprit.
Qualified my ass, honestly. Like, seriously, like, why? More disqualified. And no, I won't be watching the World Cup 2022 because of how fucking horrible the U.S. women's soccer team was in World Cup 2019. So, and let me repeat one more time: Russia is the greatest country on the entire planet, and no one can convince me otherwise.
Is China's new personal information protection law, which took effect November 1st. The law requires companies to obtain the Chinese regime's approval before they take personal information out of China. It seems to reflect Beijing's fear that its data will fall into the control of foreign governments. Chinese state-run media.
What about shipping data? Is shipping data like personal information? It should be publicly available. Because remember, like, back in 1983 when Korean Airlines Flight 7 was shot down? Like, you know about that? Ronald Reagan made it easier to, like, track information about your location thanks to GPS being publicly available. And now we use it in stuff like car navigation systems, your smartphones, etc. So, even airplanes use it, so.
Have reported that since last year, China's national security agencies have found that foreign companies had built more than 700 AIS transponders along China's coastline. Also, according to Chinese media, foreign agencies had been partially using these transponders to collect China's data. The reports accuse the foreign agencies of interfering with China's law enforcement activities and seriously endangering the country's economic and sovereign security. But a U.S.-based China affairs analyst offers another perspective. He says it has more to do with the Chinese regime's political security than with its national security.
They are afraid that economic activities will be analyzed by others, but what are the consequences of those analyses? Doesn't it just reveal that China's GDP is actually low and that it's not as high as they say? Besides, they're secretly shipping certain things to Iran and North Korea, and they don't want to be caught.
With Christmas approaching,
North Korea. Let that sink deep. You know, the James Bond movie that came out in 2002 took place in North Korea. And that premiered in Britain weeks before the Tohoku Shinkansen extension was opened. So, let that sink in.
A loss of tracking data from China could spell major issues for the global shipping industry.
The CCP would be happy to see that the U.S. supply chain is messed up and inflation is high. If its inflation is high, the U.S. will be more willing to cooperate with the CCP.
Some call it a double-edged sword. The tighter the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, controls data, the more it will draw foreign suspicions. But at the same time, the country is becoming more and more isolated from the rest of the world as it adopts increasingly strict policies in the name of protecting its national security.
You see that? We're already seeing major crises right now. Inflation is up the roof, too. Are we living in the 1970s or something? Or a worse version of the 1970s? Oh wait, there's... Okay, so... apparently, I might have to take care of a delivery soon, so... Hold on. I turned off the game audio by accident. Oh, I forgot to turn it on, so... Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so let's continue. Now, you now see how dire this semiconductor shortage situation is now. It is just really... The only console we could find on Black Friday was the Xbox Series S. And why is that? Because no one would want to be subjected to Microsoft's shitty DRM tactics. But we know what happened with the Xbox One. We all know that Snowden fled to Russia, which again is the greatest country in the entire world. In fact, I even made a joke on my 3D World stream from February when it came out for Switch. I called it Super Pure 3D World because of the fact that Snowden fled to Russia when the game came out on the Wii U. Wait, I made it. Well, there's a seventh reason why the PS5 sucks ass. And what would that be? I wonder what it is. The seventh reason why the PS5 is such a horrible console is because... Hold on. Oh, I did that. Because there's no CD playback. Yeah. Like, imagine having your favorite song removed from Spotify, and you're forced to use Spotify to listen to music on your PS5 while playing games. Well, that's what Sony's doing because they removed the CD drive and erased 4 decades of innovation. is the destroy the old PlayStation, build a new PlayStation mentality. You thought changing lanes was actually be effective. Yeah, and just so you know, I've been feeling like shit the past few days. I've been eviscerated from my own Discord server. Or Discord server I created for my friend. And now my friends don't want to talk to me anymore. But maybe in a few months when I get angry and I have to do these ranch streams, I might just get a sip of soju or something. And I shouldn't have said that, but okay, so and speaking about shipping, because surface delivery has been delayed. A lot of companies are trying to find new ways to ship items from Asia to the US. The first one is, we'll start with Zen Market, which is my preferred service when shopping from Japan. Again, this is not sponsored, but we recently introduced a new shipping method called Zen Express Standard, of which they'll ship packages in bulk every 2 times a week, every week, to Hong Kong, and then after that they will continue delivery to the US, and then final delivery will be taken care of by the postal service. But like all shipping companies, such as FedEx, UPS, DHL, Evergreen, Myers, I don't know how to pronounce the last one, but the postal service around the world is actually struggling too. Like, so I'll be streaming Brilliant Diamond tomorrow, by the way. If I don't get a community guideline strike for my either my comments on like alcohol, or if I get a copyright strike for using like China focus footage under fair use. Because one time back in February 2020, before the pandemic, or in the early stage of the pandemic, I posted a clip I found on Facebook, and I got a copyright strike from an individual. It was not from a corporation. It was from an individual, and YouTube sided with the individual, even though I had legal backing that it was not copyright infringement. And the individual also threatened to hack my Google account too, on top of that. So, honestly, what's today's lesson? There's a way of creating shortages without creating shortages. That's all.